put that to one side. How are you feeling? I'm feeling a bit shitty. Yeah, good. Like and subscribe. Yeah.
Yes, sir. We are back and we are live on the channel, the YouTube Cake, Twitch. I'm joined by the ever so famous. I felt like people, have finally started putting more respect on your name. You were grinding there for a little bit over on Durag Diaries, and I like to see it because I obviously knew who you were just from the minor little features we've done over time. But you know what? I think that you've put your pillar down in the mainstream. I guess if football YouTube has a mainstream, then you've definitely been there. And what a fantastic intro for my guest. I'm back. I'm in the new space, new studio space, almost completely moved in. So might have some regular programming very soon, if not starting today. I don't know, because I really don't know what my schedule looks like. But George, how are you doing? How are things? How's the channel? How's the life? And how are you seeing Tottenham?
Hey, come on, man. Big intro from Jacob, as he says there. We're taking Durag Diaries to the world. But yeah, no, it's been good, man. Like I say, finally getting a little bit of recognition. Nearly past that little 5K mark. We're like 500 away. And, once you get through there, you just feel a little bit, like, oh, do you know what? I've done a little something. 5K. It's a nice little step. So channel's going well. I know I've been taking a little bit of a break, but I think it's all of us. I think it's come at a good time. This sort of end of September, mid-September, mid now. There's been 2 international breaks. So it's sort of been a good time to sort of take a step back, especially after the transfer window was a heavy one. But, what life's good. Football's good. 7 unbeaten. I mean, can we complain?
Shoot, I mean, we can. Tottenham fans, we'll find a reason to complain. But me, how I felt going into things. I had all type of nicknames for our boy old Tommy Tom Tom.
Yep.
But now I've got nothing but love and laughing and living. Live, laugh, and love is the style of football I presumed him to play, and that's what we've been doing. I've been living, laughing, and loving. So all boxes are checked for me in the football sense, and it's just fun. I like to try and stick my toes into the pools and see what the temperature is in other areas of Tottenham fan base. And for the most part, it seems like everybody's pretty well satisfied with us thus far. But in a couple of the losses, obviously Bournemouth and Wolves, they weren't great. Did we draw versus Wolves? Am I forgetting?
Yeah, we drew.
Okay, it just felt like a loss
because it was equalizer. It's one of them ones, isn't it? Like,
what are we fourth in the league? I haven't even looked at the table in about a week. I've been too busy moving.
Yeah, I think we're third. We're third, 2 points off.
Oh, we're third. Shoot, hey, we ain't even in fourth. Shit, we looking down at fourth right now. Like, hey. Also, unbeaten in Champions League as well. 2 wins. No, draw. We drew versus Bodo. That's what it was. Yeah. We drew versus Bodo. That was a little.
It was the Wolves and Bodo back-to-back games sort of left a sour taste in a lot of Spurs fans' mouth. And most Spurs fans are happy all around. Elijah is, not. I can say he's one fan that's not that he's not happy. Well, no, he's not happy. Let's just he's not happy. I was gonna try to sugarcoat it. He's probably gonna come and say, George, you didn't say exactly what I said, but no, he's not happy at all. Football's not good enough.
Shout out Elijah, man. Too much.
Shout out to Elijah every single time.
He's been hitting me up, seeing how the moving process is going, and we haven't even talked football at all, but. That's my guy. So it's fun seeing him all riled up. I was watching some of his videos. Is Frank a fraud? And I was like, bro, he is Frank a fraud before I ever did is Frank a fraud. Which I'll be honest, the first couple preseason games, I was a little like, I don't know. But PSG, and then obviously the signings of Mohamed Kudus and Xavi Simons, which you can't spell Simons without Moans, secondly. But when both of them come out and say, I wanted to sign here, and a large part of that was because of the manager and the way I've seen him improve players, and I want a piece of that. What am I going to say when I've been saying for years, sign Kudus, sign Xavi, sign even Paulinho when he was in the Premier League before he went to the Bayern Munchen? Same thing. He was an absolute baller. I think the numbers speak for themselves now. You look at some of the most successful dribbles, take-ons, etc. Xavi and Kudus are up there at the top, if not at the top, respectively. and Paulinho as well in the tackle category, I think, and successful duels won, something like that. He's number one. So he's just kind of getting back to his Fulham form, and that's really all I wanted to see. I didn't even need Thomas to come in and improve him. I just wanted to see Thomas get him back to where he was.
Yes.
And I think we're seeing a little bit of that. And I do kind of want to start there with the Paulinho thing. I saw something yesterday, per some source, I'll look it up in a second, said that Tottenham are very keen on picking up João Paulinho's option with 25, 30 million euros, which is very dirt cheap when you think about the fact that he's our, I think, joint goal scoring leader right now with 3.
He might be. You know, in all comps, he actually might be with Richarlison because the goals have really been spread out, haven't they? So he might be. I know own goals is our top goal scorer, and I do know that.
Is he? Is OG back?
Yeah. OG's back. You know, if you include the deflections, then I think OG's like 7 goals in right now. It's a bit mad.
Hey, but some of those deflections, the shot was still going that way. You know.
That's how I would have it. But hey, shout out to OG, man, because it's in the name itself. You know, been holding us down for a while right now. But more importantly, Paulinho, I think whoever put out the tweet or they're just stating the obvious. As I said, we've seen the performances. We know what he's done already in just 10 games. You can already see the difference in the team from the start of his first game against Bayern, where he looks extremely shaky, to now 6 weeks onwards from that. He looks like one of the most important players in our team, especially in a lot of these games where you need a 6, need a destroying midfielder. He brings that experience. He brings that composure that you need back there. And I think it's a guarantee. Like, if Spurs don't sign him, we would all be fuming. I'd be going mad if we didn't sign him at the end of this window, because yes, he's 30 years old, but I think if you've watched him enough this season, it's very clear to see that he's not. I'm not a guy that's in. I don't swing that way. I'm not interested in men. But when he took off his top at Wolves, you could see he's in very good shape for a 30-year-old. You know, like, I don't think he's got the body of her, and he doesn't look like a guy that's slowing down in football. He looks like he's still maintaining a very good level, and he could probably maintain this level of fitness at least and sharpness, I'd say, for another 2 to 3 years. So I think signing Paulinho is. It's got to happen. I don't think, and I think it's gonna happen just from these performances so far already. I think Spurs in January will do like when we had Lo Celso, we had the option to sign him in the summer. In that January, we said, no, look, we're gonna sign him. Don't even worry about it. I think Spurs will do the same thing with Paulinho.
Well, you know, I would be very not distraught, but I would be, you know, a little bit irked or rubbed the wrong way. You know, Tottenham been talking real nice to all the fans lately, and I ain't even saying talk to me nicely. They're talking to the fans real nicely. They're talking about $100 million injection. Lewis is getting off on winning, and he wants to win more. We're sounding like Charlie Sheen after he smoked a crack pipe. You know what I'm talking? We're winning, baby. We're winning. We're just gonna win. That's all we're gonna do. Everyone else out here's playing games to lose. We playing to win. You know, Evangelos Snorlakis. He said all we do is win, and since then I don't think they have, but once maybe.
Once.
So
in fact, if they don't win this weekend, Jacob, they've got 1 win in 5 months.
That's crazy, you know, and also deserved. Karma finally biting that fat ass motherfucker, talking about, hey, shout out those Greek families who have a missing family member because they were just going to go to court and, you know, testify against Snorlakis there. But we'll move on from that. Just a little, I feel like all season it'd be great to just LOL at Nottingham Forest here as we go.
100%. Nottingham Forest and Wolfie, because I don't know if you're streaming. Wolfie, but Wolfie's more than unbearable. So he deserves everything coming his way at this moment in time, most definitely.
I absolutely agree with that. I endorse that message as well. Wolfie can hold that. Ainge can hold that. Snorlakis can hold that. Every Nottingham Forest fan, they can all hold that. But back to João Paulinho, I pulled up the tweet. So it is from Pletty Goal, which I remember I tried to call him a fraud when he said Harry Kane had dinner with Uli Hoeneß, and I was like, oh, you're a hoe. Hell no, he didn't. And he did. And he's now, you know, breaking records over there. But he said that Tottenham can genuinely see themselves triggering the 25 to 30 million euro option for João Palhinha. Thomas Frank is a big fan, has an excellent relationship with him. A return to Bayern appears unlikely. There has not yet been concrete talks between the two clubs, but there is a positive trend. The loan has been a success so far. You mentioned, obviously, the game-tying goal, the game-not-losing goal. Wasn't the game-winning goal. We got memed a little bit and trolled a little bit for that. Taking the shirt off. I'm not gonna lie, in the moment I was like, yeah, but then looking back, I was like, maybe he should have just gone and picked up the ball. And you know, in FIFA, hit the R1 L1, just skip celebration, get right to the kickoff,
Just
and let's
straight to
go
the
get the
kickoff.
game.
Yeah, 100%. Like, in hindsight, most definitely, you know, like in the moment, it was nice. I got it. And more than anything, it must have been something personal to him because his return to the Premier League, maybe in that moment, I get why he may have done it. Cool. But as a Spurs fan, yeah, obviously, our thoughts is just hit that L1, R1, go pick up the ball, run to the thing. Let's get another one. Because we've done it before. Sheffield, Leicester. I mean, we've got two, like, we've done that before.
Steven Bergwijn.
Hey, that come up the other day. It was beautiful. I was just watching it and I was like, yo, this I just remember watching that game going crazy. Yeah. I done a knee slide on my carpet. I had carpet burn like fuck, but I didn't care, you know. That was a
dude,
good game.
I think it was just I only had my son at the time, and I just remember I was watching. I remember where I was. It's one of those, like, where were you sitting in your house, and you can I can visually remember where I was sitting. And I was just like, when we got the equalizer, I was like, yeah. And then I was like, come on, boys, let's go get another. I'm always like that anyway. And so I was like, let's go get another one. Let's get the game winner. And then I was like, oh, it's actually gonna happen. And then when it went in and it like bounced off the post or whatever, and that rolled in slowly. I almost cried in that moment. I'm not gonna lie. It was a non-consequential goal, I guess, in the grand scheme of things. I mean, maybe did it lead to European football? I don't even know.
I'm pretty sure it was just a game in January.
Yeah, I think we were just so desperate for a win or something. Hey, Big Bertha wasn't around then, but you see where she at. She got her own little chair next to the Cocopelli. You know what a Cocopelli is? You ever heard of one of them?
Don't have a clue.
So it's a famous like character in hieroglyphics from the ancient times here in America. Okay. So whenever
when did America have hieroglyphics? I thought that was Egypt.
Well, I guess hieroglyphics, to my understanding, I could be wrong here, but to my understanding, hieroglyphics, the word just refers to like centuries past drawings on the cave walls.
Fairs. That probably is it. I probably just.
I think maybe hieroglyphics is Egypt specific. I don't know for sure, but
your one sounds a lot better. Mine sounds like the dumb one, so I'm not gonna lie.
But I just remember we took a trip. It makes me sound smarter than I actually am. It was like I was in elementary school. I lived in Colorado at the time. We did a trip to what they call the Four Corners. And it's like the only place in America, I don't know about the world, but where 4 different states meet at one point.
Yeah.
So you could technically, if you know, with your girl Doggy, you could be in like 4 different states at once or something. But if, you know, you want to drop Eagle at the Four Corners, a lot of people do. But it is an area that was like a hotbed for the Native Americans and the people that lived in the adobes that made those like clay mud houses into and so we did like a field trip out there and shit. I learned all about all that, and I thought it was super interesting. And this little Cocopelli, it's like a little dude who plays the flute, and he like it's like a staple of like the region, New Mexico, and like kind of that area. So anyway, didn't mean to digress with the little Cocopelli talk, but I figured shit, he there with Big Bertha, so we may as well say something about him. We were talking about João Palhinha, and I think that what we've seen thus far is pretty good. Harmless Potato, which big up everybody in the chat. Again, I know this was kind of spur of the moment stream, and I haven't been live in a long time, so I'm not going to see everybody here, but Harmless Potato was the first one here. Finn Rickwood is here. Finn Rickwood. Hey, good to see you back in the house, my friend. Big up Jacob George in the chat. Of course, we got Durag Diaries on cam with us. Big up to Destiny 5. Good to see you. But this point that I wanted to bring up from Harmless Potato says, to be fair, we have played all of the bottom 3, Burnley, West Ham, Wolves, and 4 of the bottom 6, including Leeds, when you look at our results. Now, I am going to pull the table up so I do seem like I know what I'm doing here in regards to streaming, because it has been a while, but I guess somewhat like a bicycle. So we've played 7, won 4, drew 2, and lost 1. Obviously, that one loss was to Bournemouth. I do remember that well. But does this worry you at all that you've seen like some struggles and some, we had to claw back to get a draw versus Wolves. I think we took care of West Ham pretty good. Burnley, that was the first match of the season. I'm not putting too much like positive
for
or
me,
negative
Jacob,
in that.
I'm looking at it and I'm like, I'm glad that we've had some of the bad results that we've had and some of the bad performances. Like, I think you have to get that out of the way early. You want to know the floor of the team as soon as possible, because then Frank knows, okay, this is the worst we can get. Now let's work on getting better. This is what we don't do. Now we know what we need to do. So I've looked at a lot of these games where we haven't been that good and a lot of these results and been like, do you know what? That's a learning curve. I'm glad Frank's had that. I'm glad this has happened. The Bournemouth game, the 1-0 where we played dreadful. You need a performance like that. At least get out of the way early in the season. If that was in the back end of April when we're chasing Europe, I'm going to be fuming. It's the third game of the season. I'm like, yeah, shit. Let's get that out of the way. Let's dust the cobwebs off.
I think 5 out of the 11 were new to the team in general. So like there's got to be that cohesion period, right?
Yeah, there's that, and then there's also, Thomas Frank still learning about a lot of these players. He probably thinks some players are good at certain things, and then watches them and is like, oh yeah, shit, he's not that good at that. And you got to figure that out. For me, the biggest thing has been, like you said, we've come back from 2-0 twice. Last season under Ange, let's be honest, every time that we were 2-0 down, I knew we wasn't coming back. Damn sure if we were 2-0 up, I was never confident we're getting the game done. Like, until that 90th minute hits, I'm like, all right, cool, we might actually see this game out. But up until then, the last 10 minutes, we usually conceded. We haven't conceded a goal in the last 15 minutes of a game all season. We've come back in the last 10 minutes of games a few times as well. So for me, that's been impressive. Like the Bodo Glimt performance was bad, but the characters come back into the game. That's what I like, because we scored. We made it 1-1
away from home, north of the Arctic Circle.
Both of them were away from home as well. That's the biggest thing. Our away record has been really good. Last year, our away record was dreadful. But there's so many things that you can compare to last season that look good. So for me, I'm more than fine and like content with where we're at. I'm not like overly happy. I think that we could be better, but Thomas Frank's doing a damn good job.
I would agree with that last part. However, I find a little bit of myself, like I struggle to compare Ainge's last 6 months with Thomas' first 6 months, if that makes sense. Yeah, I like to compare the first parts of Ainge with the first parts of Thomas, with the first parts of Conte, with the first parts of Jose, and et cetera, et cetera. That's kind of how I look back on it anyway, because I feel like to say, I mean, when you think about I don't even remember what ground it was where the away fans were calling him a wanker, go fuck yourself, Ainge, all this different shit. And then Jed Spence, who everyone said Ainge is ruining his career, Jed Spence was the one who went over there and defended Ainge. I don't remember what away in that was.
Are you talking about Fulham?
It might have been Fulham.
I feel like it was Tell. It was Matthias Tell that went over there.
No, it was before that. It was before the Matthias Tell one, where Matthias Tell went to the crowd. I remember that one. That one was after. But it was we were wearing the green kits, if that helps any. Probably doesn't. But I just remember that moment is when I was like, things aren't looking good on the pitch nor off the pitch anymore. Because I think in the beginning parts of a tenure with a manager, you're gonna just have that honeymoon period where it's like, okay, we lost, but let's accept it X, Y, and Z. Let's look at it this way. Let's look at that. And I do agree to some extent that there's got to be a little bit of understanding in regards to the roster turnover. But for me, this is a better squad than Ainge ever had. This is a better squad than Thomas has ever had in his career. So it's kind of uncharted waters. We are metaphorically, definitely not literally, like Christopher Columbus right now. We think we might be going to India. Shit, it may be America. We don't know because we're not for sure. But this is uncharted land that we're exploring, and I think Thomas is in the same boat in that regard. So like that uncertainty that, when you start wearing a brand new shoe, it's not going to feel like it feels 3 weeks later, 3 months later, 3 years later. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to start feeling different because it's adjusted to the circumstances that your foot is putting it in, so to speak. So from a Tottenham standpoint, I really see it like I'm still just going with the flow. I'm just floating and I'm letting the water take me where the current wants to go, because what I saw in that PSG game gave me enough to say, okay, with the words of Kudus, words of Xavi Simons, two players I've admired for years, I said, okay, I'm not going to be so at Thomas's throat, win, lose, or draw. I'm going to just try to be more understanding is kind of how I approached it. And so I see it as a way of like, this is the best squad we've had in quite some time, like quality-wise in specific areas. We have a midfield problem. We have a fullback problem, which are the good ones. Like the good, not because it's Ben Davies who's going to play. Ben Davies hasn't even been on the bench. How good is that?
I mean, and do you know what's funny? He was actually named as part of the leadership group, but he's not had no part to play. Like he's not even on the bench. Like you say,
some lead from the front, some lead from the recovery room, some lead from the study room. And luckily, we've got one in all three categories. Kuti to lead the line on the pitch, Madison to lead the line in the recovery room, and Ben Davies to lead the cafeteria is where we're going to...
Do you know what it is? I think Ben is one of those guys that, you know, like everyone knows, you have them when you're at work. Have been in the company for such a long time. They get away with everything. They do what they want, but like they've got a good relationship with everyone. They keep it cool with everyone, so everyone likes them. So like when something's going on, you know, you go to them to find out the information. That's what I feel like Ben is to Spurs. You know, like he will keep everyone cool. Everyone's got a good relationship with him. They're like, oh, he's the guy that's been here for the longest, and oh yeah, we understand.
Yeah, like the father, kind of like how Son.
Yeah.
Like with Son, I felt like that's why I liked him as a captain, even though people were like, I would need a Roy Keane, a muddy-elbowed fucking mechanic of a captain. And I just don't think that there's any way to like generalize how a man can lead other men. Just because it's been done one way doesn't mean it can't be done another way. And I really thought that's why I really like Son as a captain, is because he kind of did what you were saying that we're hoping Ben Davies is doing behind the scenes, which is that veteran figure, that leader in the sense of like, I've been here, I can show you where the key holder is, I can show you that door on the side of the building, this is how you got to jimmy it open or whatever. So I also think Madison is that. Did you see Madison's video, by the way, that he dropped? Because he's a YouTuber now.
I watched about half hour of it. I didn't get all the way around it, but to be honest, watching it, like I know a lot of us, and myself included, you know, I get onto a lot of players, and you know, when you start to see that side of the injury, especially the ACL, I was like, Ross, do you really feel for him now? Because he's going through a lot. Like just in general, what the ACL can do to someone's mental, it's tough. It's tough. Like he said it, he's a big man, but he's been crying a lot, man. And do you know what I get it? Because for him, it could be like, even when you're hearing him talk to the doctors, it's a case of this could be the end of his career. Like this injury could end his career if he comes back and it hurts. It doesn't feel the same. His leg might not bend the same. So even forget the end of his career, this could change a lot of way about the way he even lives his normal life. So it's a tough watch, man. It is a tough watch. I feel for him.
Yeah, and I think, you know, hey, you can speak on this too. Like as a father facing your kids and your wife after injury like that, like they're also concerned for your health, your longevity, how you're going to be able to cope with something of this level. And you know, so there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders. And I think I got a sense of that, and the just, you know, a glimpse into like, I guess the pain that goes into that kind of thing too. Cause it looks fucking uncomfortable, if I'm honest. There's a couple graphic scenes as well where he shows the scar and it's kind of gross, but also, I mean, the main thing why I brought that
Kulu's one that he uploaded on Instagram, where he uploaded like,
yes, I did
surgery,
and it was like awful. Bone, bro. I don't need to see the bone broth and shit, dog. I don't need to see how the damn sausage is made. Just get back on the pitch, motherfucker. Shit, what was I gonna say? Now I'm thinking about that bone broth photo.
Yeah, it threw me off. Wait,
the reason why I brought up Madison's video was because I saw in there the way Brennan and Archie and some of like Radu, Vicario, even Kinksky, Those are just some of the names off the top of my head that I remember in the video. The way they went and talked to him was like they were talking to, like you're the freshman and that's the varsity captain or something. Like they were talking to him with like respect, but like an older brother, father, uncle type talk. So it's like I feel like we got that with Madison too. So I do feel comfortable in that sense of like veteran leadership. Kuti obviously is won it all, and he can lead by example in that sense, and also by how he plays. And what have you made of Kuti so far as the captain for Tottenham?
Do you know what? I was going to ask you about that because obviously, and Van de Ven as well, also another captain. It's just
he wore that captain band. Come on, Van de Ven.
Yeah, I liked it. I actually liked when he was wearing the captain. Like he showed some proper, like even the way he was talking to the referees, handling himself.
Yeah, he was getting.
Like, he's showing.
I was a little worried, like who's going to calm him down though?
No, for real. But Kuti's been good. Kuti's been good. I think you can see the shift in his mentality because I know, just in general, I know us two are two people that have pushed Kuti to like. We think very, very highly of him, and a lot of Spurs fans don't. A lot of Spurs fans have been up and down with him, but us two have been two guys that have gone out there and consistently said like we think he's one of the best centre backs in the Premier League. Now, with that, we do also both acknowledge that at times he does have moments. He has a lot of moments, and that's just the type of player he is. This season, it's been a lot less. I think he's had
I've only seen one. And there was one game where he kind of was struggling, and then he just fucking went to go give that man something to think about. I like it though.
The game he might have struggled was the Bournemouth one. I've got a feeling. I can't remember from the top of my head, but yeah, he's been good. I do want to see him be a bit calmer at times because he's our captain now. Like, I don't want you getting sent off. I don't want you getting yellow cards like unnecessarily because you need to show
get that one. Players. Some may say unnecessarily, but I say he was getting stuck the fuck in. I don't remember what game it was. I probably could find it if I look for it because I think he's only got the one yellow card to his name, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. I think he generally doesn't get that many yellow cards. It's just sometimes, it's some of those challenges that are right on the edge. Like they could be a yellow, it could be no yellow, it could be a red. Like the referees, just whenever they see Kuti do a challenge, whenever they see Kuti do a challenge, he's always getting a lot harsher feedback than anyone else. So, I've been impressed with him. I think he's been good. Got on the ball, been more than good. I think he had an assist. There was a really good assist. I can't remember. West Ham, yes, really good assist for that one. And he's starting to add that to his game more consistently. We're starting to see those long passes, and we're relying on him and Pedro Porro to make those throughout the game to be a bit more direct. So I've been impressed with him. And this comment here was crazy. I think who sent this in a chat? I'm in another Spurs.
I saw it on Twitter, and it's one of those I just keep scrolling. I've gotten so, like you said, I've been parading that Kuti's the best thing since sliced bread and cut cheese. But, people either go with the narrative because they don't watch us week in, week out. They don't watch 90 minutes every player. Like, probably watch. I mean, the way that I watch our players, especially Mohamed Kudus, which I want to talk about him in a minute. Mohamed, hey, number one Mo in the league. Talk to me. Best dribbling right wing and Mo. Come on, man. But back to the center backs and Kuti specifically. I'm like Ghost said, I'm just so sick of the Romero slander, but I've been sick of it from Tottenham fans for years because they ain't put respect on it. So how can I expect some fucking random who casually watches us like I casually watch Liverpool or something? Like, how are they going to tell me something when I have Tottenham fans that are saying, oh, he's rash and they're going with the same narratives. I have Tottenham fans that sound like damn Arsenal fans about when they talk about Kuti. Like he's out here getting yellow. Like Mikel Arteta for the last 2 years has been carded more than Kuti Romero has. But that's not going to get talked about. It's going to be he's rash, he's this, he's that. And I just think, sometimes when someone doesn't live up to, I guess, the mold in which you've tried to set forth for them, then they're not going to like it. And yeah, sometimes he does get stuck the fuck in. But from a goalkeeping standpoint, which is the lens I view the game from, I love that shit. I love my center backs being physical, getting stuck, because you know what it does is it makes that front line of the opposition and those attacking midfielders and the fullbacks, it makes them all just a little bit think twice when they go into a certain area because that motherfucker may run you over next. And just just making you think about it. Like, I was never that good at competitive games, but if we played a game versus each other in the same room, I'm better because of how I'm going to fuck with your mind. And it's like, if you're in the comforts of your room and you're not listening to me talk shit, you're not going to get that same. So to me, it's just that little bit of maybe a 0.1%, maybe a 1% extra difference maker in that sense. And, you know, I love a player that gets stuck in. I'm a huge Sergio Ramos fan over the years. So I like those kinds of defenders because I loved playing with those kinds of defenders personally. So I just think DR Sports is trash. AFTV is trash. Obviously, look at all the resignations they've been getting. But when it comes to their opinions on Cuti Romero, I'm not going to listen to a rival fan who sounds just like a fucking bitter Tottenham fan when it comes to Cuti Romero.
I'll be honest. I've been tired of listening to rival fans talk about Romero because, like you said there, I don't think any of them can actually have an honest conversation about how good of a defender he is. Because when the one thing that easily breaks it down for me is when I say, "Oh, so what do you rate in Romero?" Oh, he's just a rash defender. He's just, and then I'm just like, okay, yeah, we don't need to have this conversation because if you actually look at Romero, watch him play, I've said it. I think he's one of the best ball playing centre backs, not in just the Premier League, in the world. Like his ability on the ball is second to none. There's not much centre backs that can drive like with the ball like him, that can play those passes like him, that are so comfortable in their box to just roll it through players' legs and so on. Like he is so damn good on the ball.
His ball retention, even when he wins it over. In like near the touchline in our own box, just outside our own box, on
he'll sweep it and keep it in, do those proper smart tackles.
And he'll like Shaquille O'Neal, a motherfucker, the way he box a dude out and turn and then bink it over the top to a runner for a counter. I mean, he starts attacks, he starts the breaks, he wins the ball back. I think that with Mickey Van de Ven, it's just the pace that Mickey has and the football IQ of Mickey as well has been growing over the last 12 months of solid football that we've seen from Mickey Van de Ven. I mean, when you think about our center back partnership, I got to put it up there with some of the best in the league. And I mean, who else? Because when you think about partnerships, Liverpool, they're crying for a center back.
They are right now, isn't it? They don't have.
I mean, Mikel Arteta keeps signing up center backs. I rate Pierre Hincapie. I don't know about this mascara motherfucker, but he looked like a bitch. So I'll just say that first and foremost. Mascara, you look like a bitch. But I will also say, Gabriel and Saliba are, some would say, the best duo in the Premiership. I wouldn't go that far, but. What other duos are there that are comparable?
I think you've got those two. You've got Gabriel Saliba. That Newcastle back pairing looks pretty good, but I think we need to see more of it. I forgot it's Botman and the other guy. It's a new fella. I forgot his name.
Not Dan Burn, is it?
Nah, it's not Dan Burn because that's what I mean. Someone on AFTV said that, but it's a new guy. They signed him this summer. I'm pretty sure, if not in January. So I don't remember his name, but he's a good centre back. That does look like a good pair. And you've got the Nottingham Forest one was only good last season. And this is what I don't get is everyone guessed I'm pretty sure did they not play the back three a lot of last season. I just don't think they've got that. Milenkovic and Murillo they'll be exposed this year. And all the talk that people had regarding Romero and Van de Ven under Ange, you're gonna see the same thing for a lot of Nottingham Forest centre back. So yeah, I'd go as far to say maybe Konate and Van Dijk as a pairing is better, just simply because Van Dijk is so damn good. He can carry Konate at
Malik Thiaw.
Yeah, Thiaw. That's it. Thiaw. I think he might have came from AC Milan or some shit. He's good. He's good, though. I like that pairing of Botman. But I don't think it's better than Romero and Van de Ven. So, Palace centre-backs as well. Pretty good. Gahey and Lacroix. I like that. But I'm pretty sure... Don't Palace play with a back three? So
I do like Lacroix. Chris Richards as well, American lad. He's from the FC Dallas Academy, which is I used to work there, so I know a lot of the lads from the FC Dallas Academy. So I'm biased and very impartial when it comes to Chris Richards. I think he's a fantastic center back. I think Lacroix is very good as well. Him and Mickey Van de Ven played together at Wolfsburg. They had a nice little partnership. I do think that though, I'm hearing all these names that you've thrown out. Those are good those are ones I guess I would put up there if I'm really going through the list. But are you taking any of those over Romero and Van de Ven?
No. I couldn't even put a Man City pairing in there. They're that bad at the back. I think only Arsenal. I think only Arsenal's pairing, and that's generally because I think they've had years of not having injuries. They've built up such a good relationship. Those two have played probably like 150, 200 games together. I don't even think Kuti and Romero have 100 together as of yet. So I think theirs will come over time. Plus, the Romero and Kuti have their age on their side because they're still fairly young. What, Van der Ven must be like 24, Kuti like 27.
I think he may have just turned 25, and Kuti may have just turned 28.
Oh yeah, no, Van der Ven's 24, and Romero, I think you're right about Romero. He's probably just
27, 28, something like that.
He's 27, yeah, 28 next year. So 24,
he's also
27.
captain Argentina a few times recently, so he's really, I think, cementing his place, and anyone who doesn't give him respect. I want to stick with the back line here for a second and quickly get your opinion on. I've been seeing some like Vicario's not good enough. Vicario shit. This and that. I did think he was at fault for a couple goals lately. What's your take on Vicario? Do you think it's time for the Kinkster to come in, the king of kinky?
Tony Kinky. Do you know what? My thing is, I think Vicario is a very good goalkeeper. I actually do. I think a lot of people they say he makes mistakes. He does the only problem I have with Vicario is his decision making when he kicks the ball. When he kicks the ball, sometimes I just like, what are you doing, bro? You're either kicking it into open space where there's no one. You're sometimes
or he puts a person in hell with a pass. You know,
he's very dangerous. But I feel like, to be honest, I think that's an instruction. The actual passing into danger is an instruction because a lot of managers nowadays, they want you to play out from the back and they'd rather you make that dangerous pass to a centre back than just hoof it long. But I don't think that's an excuse because I still think his decision making is bad. But that's the only problem I have with him. Outside of that, I think he's a phenomenal goalkeeper. I think he's one of the best in the league, top 5, no doubt.
There was some number that he's number 1 in the league.
Yeah, I did see there was a few stats, and somebody commented, and they were like, "No, if you go on the Premier League website, David Raya is number 1." And I was like, "Well, who scored's got him as number 1? That's not my fucking problem. Like, go argue with the people that take the data down."
Highest performing goalkeepers in the Premier League so far. It has Vicario at a 93. The next up is Dean Henderson, tied with Robin Roofs at 86. And I don't know what the barometer is, but it's like a.
They use so much data.
It's like a scale.
It's tough. Yeah, they got a lot of data to sort of make it happen. I do feel like maybe because we've like some teams that face more shots, you might see more. But Vicario's been good. He's been very good for me. I ain't got a problem with him. I think the one problem we did have a few years ago with regards to him like flapping at crosses and stuff, I don't think he does that anymore. I think he's got a lot stronger in the box. We don't look weak in from corners. So I don't get why people have
how much of that do you think is down to Vicario or the coaching? Because a lot has been said about our set pieces specifically under Ainge Postecoglou with Miles Jedinak. Whenever they both came in, you look at them going into Nottingham Forest, and now they're having a set piece issue where they didn't have one before. So I'm curious how much of that was Vicario's a flappy flapper in the box, and how much of it was just down to bad set piece tactics.
I think it's a bit of both because I know Ange said that the person that was working on the defensive tactics was like Rob Birch or whatever, like the goalkeeping coach or some stupid shit.
We had a change after year 1. He did switch, but
he brought in Miles Jedinak was in. It's that tall guy that like looks like he's just tall, big built looking fella. Looked like a security guard. Don't even look like a football coach. But. Regardless, he wasn't qualified to be doing set piece coaching. He didn't have the qualifications to be doing that. I think when you look at anyone, you can see Thomas Frank has always used set piece coaches. He's been very smart with that. And just looking at us right now, we look a lot more dangerous attacking wise. We look better defensively from them. So, yeah, I think Ange definitely made a huge mistake. And yet again, neglecting a part of the team that he felt wasn't needed and quite clearly was.
Yeah, that's a part that I've really enjoyed when we go back to just comparing. I don't think at any point in Ainge's tenure, I like I said, I like to go off of his first couple months versus Thomas's first couple. I never really felt like we were a threat on set pieces. I felt like Kuti could get dominant in the air maybe, and we got a couple of those. Van de Ven did a couple corner pieces that were good. But outside of that, I can't really remember anything that was like I feel dangerous on this corner. I'm more just like, just someone do something, please, was how I remember feeling. Now, that's just how I remember feeling. So it's not any based on any factual evidence other than what I can remember, which again, throw-ins, like that's another weapon, I guess you call a set piece, like the long throw-in. I mean, everyone's doing it now, and it's really cool that we can do it too. And which is going to lead me into a topic I want to talk about. But before we go there, I want to get your opinion on the fullback situation. Obviously, 3 fullbacks worthy of starting in this team, but obviously there's only 2 spots available. Pedro Porro, Jed Spence, Destiny Udogie. What is your thoughts? Has Spence done enough for you? He started again for England, I believe, today. I think they're still playing right now. So he's been getting caps with England and 2 consecutive starts with England. He's stamping his, I think he was flirting a little bit with going to represent Jamaica at one point. And then England, I guess now they capped him all up. So he can no longer do that. But I've argued, like, I'm a huge Destiny Udogie fan. And I think he offers us so much going forward and in the middle of the park defensively, like to stop counters. He's pretty good at that. But Jed Spence was just doing so much all over the place that it was just, you can't not let him play.
Oh, no, play him in it. Yeah, it's tough. Like, I love the background.
And then Pedro Porro's having nightmare. Pedro Porro's having. He did the splits last year, and then I'm seeing Bodo Glint turning this motherfucker around like he's Cinderella at the ball. So
yeah, he's
defensively, I'm like, meh. And then they did the one game where it was Destiny and Spence, and then they both didn't look that great for a while. I was like, what the hell's going on? So it's like, seems there's a little bit of that new shoe still, but for me, Jed Spence, undroppable. Figure out Thomas, whoever the hell else should start and which side Jed will be on. But for me, left, right, center, don't give a shit. Jed Spence can't be dropped, in my opinion. What's your take?
Yeah, like I said, loving the background. Jed's penitentiary. He's got like on the yard right now. He's got all these different people. They're just he's adding as well. There's like a new prisoner getting added every week. We need to add.
I need to add a few, but this is where we're at so far. Actually,
I think there's a few prisoners in remand, but they're just waiting for their the bus to take them over.
No. I've got a newer one.
I'm not sure if you saw was it last week? It might have been last. Oh yeah, it might have been over the weekend. Brennan Johnson got added to the penitentiary, which I loved. I did love that. But no, back to the actual question. Jed Spence, it's like what you say. It's a very good problem that we have right now. We've got 3 fullbacks who are very much all at similar levels. They all bring something different to the game, but they're all very similar in, I don't think any of them are world-class players, but they're all top players in their own right. So when I look at it, I'm like, I think they're all droppable on their day. I think you've got to rotate it. I don't think you can look at Jed Spence and say, yeah, he has to start every game. I don't think you can look at Udogie and say he has to start every game, because we remember last season when Jed Spence was in form and then Udogie came back from injury and got chucked straight into the team. It knocked Jed Spence's confidence just a little, and his performances after that weren't necessarily the best. So for me, I think depending on the opponent, depending on the game, we just change it up. Like, especially on that left-hand side, I think one thing that you mentioned that's key is Udogie, attacking-wise, is better than Jed Spence on the left side. There's no doubt about that. I think going forward, he's key. I think he just adds a different option on that overlap, and you just see, I feel like he's just a little bit more natural, creatively on that left-hand side. Pedro Porro, like we spoke about earlier, with the direct passes, those long balls, he sort of helps us in that sense and probably needed in a lot of the games. So I think Pedro Porro is going to be the player that's favored to start on that right-hand side a lot of the time, because we don't have nobody in the backfield that can pass like him, especially when you don't have a seat like Paulinho and Bentancur, even Sarr or Bergvall when they're in there. They struggle with their passing, especially those long passes. Pedro Porro is one of the best in the Premier League. So I think he's the one that's sort of a mainstay, and then you just swap Jed Spence and Udogie as and when. And obviously, when you get a small team every now and then, you can play Spence and Udogie together and give Porro a rest. And I think that's the best way to approach it at the moment. But Spence has been class. Udogie's been good since he's come back from injury. Porro is Porro, innit? Like, I feel like we all know what to expect from him. He's really good going forward. Like, he created the 2 goals for us in the Bodo Glimt, but he was the reason we conceded 2 goals against Bodo Glimt. That's just Pedro Porro. Like, there's no 2 ways about it.
I think if Vicario, if I remember correctly, was a little bit to blame for one of those. I thought he could have done better. But George, this is the actual updated one. So there's a couple new faces here on the penitentiary board. We've got Jared Bowen, Daniel Falk, Antonio Conte Balding. Is that Garnacho back there? Who else did I add?
Yeah,
Neil Warnock.
Who's that in the corner? Is that like the right corner, the bottom corner?
That is the forward for AZ Alkmaar.
I love that.
I believe the striker. Then some dude from Ipswich. Yeah. And then, obviously this was a preseason. We played Arsenal, but couldn't help but put that, Jed Spence putting Buhu Saka on the floor. I did like a little bit of that. But anyway, I digress. That's the Jed Penitentiary. Okay, so got your opinion there. Let's go to the midfield. We got about 13, 15 minutes left. In the midfield, it's almost seemed like in the preseason for me, Popsar was the best, and then Bergvall started shining, and then they both started making cases for themselves to not be dropped. And then Sar got dropped. You see Xavi Simons going to the 10, and that's where I think that he really started showing his best for us so far. And I still think the best is yet to come. I think this is just the entry level. We ain't even walked into the lobby yet.
What do you think of Xavi so far? Because like me, and we're big fans of Xavi before he joined, sort of follow his career prior. Has he shown you what you expect of him, or are you still like, there's a lot more to come?
I think there's so much more to come. I think we have, when you talk about tips of the iceberg, it don't even look like there's an iceberg there at this juncture. And he's been okay. There's been some good, some not some good, but he's also crossed up a few. I got a sticker on WhatsApp of him just nutmegging a dude in the box. Like, it's gross. He's done some disgusting things. He's also had some mistakes. He has shown to do and be part of that. They need that acclimation period from the Bundesliga to the Premier League. That is a clear avenue in which you've got to have that little buffering period. And I think we got spoiled with the likes of someone like Mickey van de Veen in regards to getting a guy from the Bundesliga to come in and show something. And in my humble opinion of this whole thing, he was getting started out there on the left, and that's not his thing, to be a touchline winger. He likes to drift to the left as a 10. He likes to be a left mid, if you will, but not a left winger, in my opinion.
Like a lamb. I think that in FIFA they call them lambs, isn't it?
Yeah, lamb. Yeah, like, or even, he will track back and defensively get stuck in, so he could still be the LM. But for me, I've always seen him as a cam. I've always seen him as the creator, the catalyst, the engine. And then he likes to pop up into areas as a half winger, shadow striker, if you will. And I think that that's where you're going to see the best of him, is when he's transitioning from the catalyst creative engine to. So like when you see that line where we go and we're going forward with the ball, he receives it and it's the middle of the park. Now he's got 3 dudes that are making runs towards the goal. And at that juncture is where you're going to start to see him at his best, where he's either going to take a man on, he's going to find the 1-2, and his quick decision making is one of the best traits that I liked about him, seeing him as a young man whenever he was at Eindhoven, was where I mostly watched a lot of. Like I've seen clips and stuff out of PSG. I heard the hype, and then obviously in FIFA he had the cool hair. So like you put him in the career mode, it's fun. You sign him and watch him grow and then he went to PSV, and that's a team that I keep up with relatively. And I was during a season in which I was like, I'm going to pick a team from each league, and I'm going to watch their matches anytime they're on, if they're not conflicting with Tottenham. And PSV was the team that I chose for the Netherlands, and I got to see him there a great deal. And I was like, wow, this is this kid's great. Then he went to Red Bull. And I remember I was in his fucking comments before he went to Red Bull talking about, please sign for Tottenham. And I was doing this thing where I would try and scout players like, okay, we don't spend a lot of money. We like to buy young with a high ceiling. That's kind of the barometer.
We've gone through that period of Spurs fans because we start to realize, yeah, we're not going to get these top players. Can we find some gems for Spurs that we need size? So you start looking around Europe.
Yeah. That's how I found Van de Veen. The real ones on the channel that were here back then, remember whenever I was like, go get that, we need a left-footed defender, was when we were like, oh, we need a left-sided center back, we need a left-footed, left-sided, all that shit. And I was like, I got the guy. His name's Mickey Van, because I was keeping up with, this is the year before they won the league. I watched all the Leverkusen games. That's when I fell in love with Hincapie, with Wirtz, Frimpong, and I saw them play versus Wolfsburg, and I was like, who the fuck is that guy? He's tall, he's defensive, and he's fast as fuck. He just looked like an antelope running around out there, and his strides were so long. I was like, it just stood out. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? So then I just started researching and looking into him more, and I really liked him. So then when the topic came up, left-footed defender, I got your guys, left side center back, Mickey Van de Veen. No one heard of him. And I was also a big fan of like Adama Traore because he also stood out on the page for me. St. Maximin, another player that I enjoyed why they stood out on the page to me. You know what I mean? So I'm telling you that I'm not like some Nostradamus. I can pick a gem. I'll throw you about 3 mediocre players and 1 really good one. But Ivan Toney was another one that I saw, in the championship. And I thought that he was a hell of a player as well. So I am hit or miss. I will either hit on a good one or an Adama Traore, which I still think would be fantastic. I would love Adama.
We're not always going to get it right. We'd have a job otherwise if we were always getting it right.
I used to call it my amateur scouting report says, and go with that determination. But Xavi Simons is one of those who's been on my amateur scouting report for years and years. Mohamed Kudus, same thing. So I still think with both of them, the best is yet to come. But with Mohamed Kudus, and that's where I want to take the conversation next, is he's been our best, if not the only thing we've got at times.
Phenomenal, man. I'll be honest. Like I didn't think it was gonna be. Back, by the way, I love it. It looks beautiful hanging up there.
I got like 2 more Kudu shirts on the way, bro. I got a sponsorship I forgot to mention, and I forgot to make graphics for, and I forgot to promote. And it's not with OK Jersey, who's sponsoring everyone and their mother right now. Yeah. And it's not only 8% off you can get. I don't know the website off the top of my head, but they're sending me a Jed Spence shirt and a Kudu shirt, and then I'm going to start promoting them. And whenever you use the code Jacob W, you get 20% off your order and free shipping. How about that?
That's what we want to hear, man. So, hey, drop the link, Jacob. I need some discount.
I gotta find it. Yeah, I gotta find it.
Drop the link. We need some discounted shirts up in here. Like
they sent me the photo of the.
I was like, shit.
They sent me the photo of the Spence shirt. Let's see. Here's the website. JerseysFCSoccerShop.com. I'll drop it into the link into the chat there. I was waiting until I got the shirt to officially like do graphics and all that, but there's the link, and use the code Jacob W, just Jacob JACOB W at checkout, and you'll get 20% off your order. I don't actually get a cut of that, so it's not like. I think it just shows like, hey, these people bought shirts they watch you and you got them to buy a shirt. So, but they're going to be sending me a shirt every month or so. And they're going to they start me off with Kudus and the Jed Spence on the way. So JerseysFCSoccerShop.com. They reached out to me. I check my fucking email on the YouTube channel. I check it maybe once every 4 months or so. And I just happened to be checking it before I started moving, and I saw like a couple different emails from a couple different people talking about sponsoring. So I was like, shit, where the fuck were these emails at? And I started replying. And then, of course, they're like, when are you going live next? I'm like, shit, I don't even know. I'm moving houses. So yeah. I just told them basically like, whenever that shirt comes in, I'll start promoting their shit every day, every stream that I do, beginning and the end. So there you go. Jerseys FC Soccer Shop. And I'll have more graphics and shit on that later. But anyway.
Make sure you guys go show some love. But on Mohamed Kudus, yeah, for me, phenomenal, man. I don't know if you've been seeing, but I've sort of been doing a bit of a PR run regarding Kudus, letting everybody know that we have the best winger in the league.
I have not seen. Inform me. I have not seen, but I'm now a fan of this.
There hasn't been enough people talking about how good Kudus is. So I went on, went out there and on my own accord started to let everybody know we have the best winger in the league. And, I told them, like, if you want to, you want to go band for band with this shit, we can go number for number. We can go stat for stat. I can show you guys all the stats you want. You want to watch football with your eyes? Yeah, shit. I watched it with my eyes too, and I saw Mohamed Kudus falling on the floor, taking on 3 players, getting back up, scooping it around. I haven't seen a player this good on the wing at Spurs since Gareth Bale. Like, this has been so refreshing to see. It's been so good. Kudus is just one of those players that even when he's not scoring, even when he's not getting assists, he's getting you off your feet. He's giving you what you want. He's a distraction. Like, he takes 3 or 4 players out of the game all by himself, just running in straight lines. Like, he'll run in straight lines and 3 or 4 players are going to gravitate towards his side of the pitch because defenders just can't stop him. I've seen a few defenders have decent games against him. I think, to be fair, the West Ham defender actually done pretty good against him, but over time, there's only so much you can do, and the Kudus is inevitable. So, yeah, man, like, I've been so impressed with him. I think I want to see him come inside a little bit more because I think, like a lot of people have said, when you see him in that attacking midfield role, not necessarily play the 10, I just want to see him cutting inside more. But I think that will come throughout the season as him and Pedro Porro build up a bit more chemistry with the overlaps. But Kudus has been so good, man. Exactly what we expected. Exactly. But what about you? Because you've been waiting for him longer than I have. So I can only imagine this is
a man that I was watching at Ajax, just disgusto magusto. And I saw him play striker, 10, left, right. It's all 4 of the forward positions he could play. There was a game I think partly through the game, we put Kudus in the 10. Yeah. We had Brennan Johnson, I think, and someone else.
There's been 2 games because he's done a lot of subs, and it seems to be Kudus is the one player he keeps on the pitch majority of the time.
Yeah, and we did a late, like a 60, 70th minute substitution, and then Kudus was now central. And I just think wherever that man is, he's a danger. He's a threat to society. He's a threat to the ball. He's a threat to the back of the net. But in his introduction game, getting that beautiful assist to Richarlison for that bicycle kick, I think he, like what you said, by pulling that attention off, or pulling so much attention to himself, that's going to naturally relieve some of the pressure from the striker and from the left side. And I think that, for me, my main gripe this season has been Wilson Odobert. That dude has actually pissed me off a lot. He had one good moment in one game this entire season, and he started several times. And maybe that's just the level. Maybe it's just I got to be more patient with him. But I've been, this is a question I want to ask you before I finish here about Kudus, which was, who do you have higher hopes for, Tell or Odobert?
It's such a tough question because I think I've had this conversation with so many people, and I look at it and I'm like,
I think Tell's got a bigger. I see more from Tell so far.
You know what it is? 1 week I'm thinking Odobert, then 1 week I'm on Tell, then 1 week I'm Odobert, then 1 week I'm Tell, and I'm just like floating back and forth. And it's even harder because I know like 2 days ago they both scored in the under-21s, and it seems to be that happens quite frequently. I think naturally
they're supposed to work well together, but not versus Doncaster.
That's what I don't get. That's what I don't get, and that's where I have frustration because I remember watching that game, Doncaster, and I'm watching Tell just like mishit the ball and stuff, and I'm like, yo, this is the guy who I've watched for France on the edge of the box with his weak foot putting top bins. Like, I know you can strike a ball, bro. His problem is the confidence. Tell needs confidence to sort of keep him going throughout the games. He's similar to Brennan Johnson. I think when he's got the belief, he's going to keep scoring. When he hasn't got the belief, he's shit. Odobert, on the other hand, I have a lot more confidence in him giving you an overall good performance in a game, but I don't know if he's going to have enough to actually impact on goals and assist wise, because he gets to the final third and he's like, oh, what am I doing with the ball now? I don't really know. Maybe I should pass back, or should I just keep it safe? Or, oh, let me just go to the byline and cross it in and hope something happens. He looks a bit confused and still needs to learn about. But I feel like for Odobert, a lot of fans frustrated with him, but without actually recognizing he got injured like 4 games into his Spurs career, was out for 6 months, came back, was around for like another 3 months before the season ended, and then he got a new manager and is still sort of trying to figure out. So really and truly, he's only had like 6 months of football at Tottenham. He's not had a lot of football. So I'm looking, I'm like, I don't want to go too early on Oda, but I still feel like he needs some time to grow and sort of
That's fair.
find his
I think that's a good point. You know, when you do look at it through that lens, that is true. You know, that he was injured for really early on. I think it was like his first game he started that he got injured. We were in the Green Kits. I think
it was Coventry in the league.
But he was a sub in the first 2, and I was like, okay, I like him more than Brendan Johnson already. And then we started him in another game. As when he started, it was like 13 or 30 minutes, something like that. He went down with an injury, and then we didn't see him for like a full year. And you know, Odegaard's not the first player to come through and wear the beautiful badge that we love so much, and then you know get hurt and it be a black hole mystery of how long they're gone. And you know, I think of Lamella, I think of Lo Celso, I think of Oliver Skip, I think of all these players that when they get hurt, it's just like we'll see you when we see you, and that's kind of where Kulusevski's at right now, which is I guess purgatory. The abyss, and I think you froze, so I'm gonna go ahead. I'll take your camera off there so that way no one's screenshotting and making fun of you. But the fuck was I talking about? I got distracted by this comment. Destiny, that trophy behind you is beautiful, Jacob. Yeah, Big Bertha, she can shine in all her glory right here, just like a beautiful co-host. You know what I mean? He says Tell definitely deserves a start after Leeds' performance. Solanke and Muani are too rusty. I haven't even seen enough of Muani to say he is or isn't. But apparently he did play 45 minutes in a preseason friendly, or not preseason friendly, a closed door friendly. And I saw a photo from that, and the GOAT was there, Musa Sissoko. So that was cool to see. Did you see that photo?
What photo was that? Sorry, my screen just went black. Everything's
yeah, you froze, so I took you off the screen so no one screenshot a funny look on your face. But I was talking about. He says Solanke and Muani are too rusty, and I agree with that. I haven't seen any of.
Oh, you're talking about a photo of Muani's hair.
But there's no. I wasn't even going to clown the man for that. I brought up that he did play 45 minutes in a closed door friendly during this international break.
Oh yeah.
And in one of the photos, I saw the GOAT Musa Sissoko.
Oh yeah, he's captain of Watford, isn't he? He's captain over there in the championship. It seems like.
Oh, was it? I didn't see the shirt he was wearing. I was like, oh, that's cute. He gets to train with our academy. You know, that's fun.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure he's the captain of their team. You know what? I was very fond of Musa, although he was awful to watch at times. Like watching him, it was just like, yo, we've got an athlete. We ain't got a football player here, but I actually was really fond of him, man. I thought he was a decent player for many times. Like he was performing for us. He came in as a right winger, the guy that was supposed to get us goals, and sort of moved his way further back in the pitch. But yeah, shout out to Sissoko, man. I don't know if you heard, we actually lost that friendly. But I heard
I didn't. That's
yeah, we actually lost. But apparently there was only 2 first-team players playing, so I think it was.
Speaking of lost, a name that has not been on the bench for stated reasons and will not be on the bench. It looked like Basuma came on as a sub for Mali, coming back from his injury, and he got injured about 90 seconds later. Unfortunate. Does it affect Tottenham at all?
But no love lost with Basuma. I'm so over it. You know, like
why do you feel that way for Busy Boy?
The guy is just unserious, isn't it? Like I think he's shown to us. He's just unserious, and that's an L I gotta hold as well. Things about him outside of football anyway. So I heard what type of character he is. Like he's a very much not focused on the game. Like you see Sancho, I wouldn't be surprised if Basuma stuff comes out like this. That's the type of character he is. So
the only thing I saw was he commented from his actual account on his actual account, acting like he was a fan, being like, "You're the best in the world. Don't worry about the haters." Was there something that I missed? No, it's Jadon Sancho.
Oh, you've not seen the Sancho stuff with him?
No, I
and
just
Sweetie?
saw that he like commented on his own
Oh
photo from his
no!
own
Like,
account.
I'm surprised you've missed this. This would be like top spot to like. Sancho's getting dragged right now because someone in Sweetie's entourage has basically outed her. She was outing Sweetie because Sweetie owed her some money. Part of that money that was owed was by Jadon Sancho because Jadon Sancho booked an appearance for Sweetie to come to the Chelsea. You know, when you see Sweetie at that Chelsea game, there was all over social media. Apparently, that was an appearance that was booked by Jadon Sancho. And then a couple weeks later, Jadon Sancho obviously has been seen with Sweetie. They're dating or whatever.
Yeah.
But then she outed that the only reason Sweetie went to go see him was because he was a client that was booked and he's not paid up. And then all this other stuff is coming out. And this girl's exposing text messages and, you know, females are asking how much they run it up on Sancho on a weekend. And then they're saying, and then she was saying like, oh, Sancho is not really, I knew that he was slow, but I didn't think he was that slow. Maybe it's too much balloons getting to his head. And there's a lot of stuff coming out and it's not a good look for him.
You know, that balloon shit is a bigger deal. And that kind of ties back into Basuma because that's when I was first like, dude.
It's huge in the UK.
Very disappointed because you're supposed to be a leader of this squad, a veteran, one of the, Premier League tried and true sturdy pieces that I've seen from afar, right? I'm not watching every single Brighton game. I'm not keeping up with his socials and all that shit. So I don't know the character that well until he actually does sign with Tottenham. And when he signed under Conte, I was ecstatic. I was through the moon. I was like, I'm okay with this window because we got Basuma. I love Basuma. And then, I'm like, the balloon thing comes up, and then I was just like, bro, you're right. Unserious, I think is the word. Very unserious. Just to be huffing balloons, number one, as a professional athlete. I'm not meaning to be Nancy Reagan now. I'm all for, proclivities and vices and all that fun shit. I'm down to have a good time. I'm down to party, goddammit. But I'm also not a motherfucking professional athlete. I'm also not a motherfucking millionaire with expectations on my shoulders to do physical shit week in and week out. Now, for me as a parent, that'd be like I'm doing balloons and then watching my kids. That's my job. That's where I'm supposed to be. That's where all the pressure's on me to be the leader, the example. But if I'm fucking balloons, dude, whip cream cans or whatever the fuck. Like in my day, this is where I'm gonna sound unk. All my young friends, they say when you say shit like this, sound like an unk. But I don't care. I'll sound like an unk. But back in my day, all the dudes, at least in America, in Texas, in America, that I ever saw inhaling whippets is what they called it, the canned air. Those people were the dumb people. They were the trailer park trash motherfuckers. They were the bow hickety racist. They were they're I don't even know what they're doing nowadays type of people because they're just never been so that's and when I saw Basuma doing that, it kind of put that light for me on him, and that's all I could see it as was like, you just look like a dummy, low IQ, non-aware motherfucker.
Like, if he's not a footballer, you're a rapper. Cool, do your thing. Like, I don't care,
bro. I don't care if my rapper does whatever the fuck.
You're actually a footballer. Like, and the thing is, for me, that wasn't even it. I was like, cool. Do you know what? You had some fun. You got caught doing it. Fine.
I've got a 38 Basuma shirt in my fucking closet.
I'm so glad
I moved that shit this week. I was like, God damn it.
But the problem for me was turning up late to training under Thomas Frank. I was like, yo, yeah.
Multiple
Thomas
times.
Frank, it was loads of times. He said he didn't just do it. He
did it to Ainge too. He did it to Ainge too.
That's the thing. Is I thought, okay, new manager, and you didn't have you had a good relationship with Ange, but you didn't get a lot of football. Maybe now under Frank, you might be able to unlock and become a new. Turning up late every week. I'm like, yo, yeah, this guy's outside enjoying summer parties and then just comes to training because he has to. Like the guy that just turns up to work because I have to be there. Like, shit. That's the type of attitude you got. Get him out of my club. That's how I am, innit?
I do agree with that, and I do want to wrap up here. But my final thought on that is, like, if you're not serious, I mean, everyone gets a fresh chance when the new manager comes in. Everyone gets a clean slate, show them what you can do. And Thomas Frank specifically, there was a preseason day, one day of 24 hours where we saw 40 plus different Tottenham Hotspur players on one day. So to me, that's a clear show me what you can do. And there was expectations of Basuma to be somewhat of a leader, veteran, etc. But my final question for you, George, before we wrap on up, is this. We've pretty much talked about all the positions and how we feel about them, but who is going to start for you as a striker when everyone's healthy? Who's the starting striker? Who's the starting left winger? And who's the other midfielder not named Xavi Simons, which you can't spell Simons without Mons? João Palhinha? Is it Sar, or is it Bergvall, or is it Bentancur, or is it kind of just and this is my opinion, I'll give my opinion on it real quick, is I just kind of think this is where Thomas is supposed to shine. Based on the game, we should be seeing a rotated, different midfield, because I think there's, like, I'm not a mathematician, but I would assume at least 16 different combinations you can do with all the midfielders that we have, with Bentancur included, Sar, Bergvall, not even thinking about when Madison and Kulu come back, just thinking about what relatively could, to me, I think this is a game-by-game basis who our midfield should be. But there's two names that I think will always stick out and that should always be on there if it's our best 11, and that's João Palhinha, and that is Xavi Simons in the 10. And that third one for me right now kind of looks like Lucas Bergvall at times, Papa Sarr at times, some say Bentancur at times. What's your opinion? Am I completely off?
I'm with you on that. Depending on the opponent, that's where Thomas Frank shines. Tactical adaptability, and that's what we want. Like, go in there and throw in different players for different opponents. I'm with you. I think Xavi Simons and Paulinho are the starters. At this moment, you might say Bergvall, but if we need a different opponent where you need somebody to, cover ground, and you might throw Sarr in there. And then if you want someone to be a bit more defensive and sit back and be a double pivot, you throw Bentancur in there. I think you just got the option to play all three of them. But obviously, my preferred option, I'd say, is Bergvall. I just think he has a bit of everything in his game. And plus, I feel like he's at that stage where he's learning and consistently growing. Like, the more you see him, the better he's getting. So I'd give him that push for me. Then on the left side, I think if I had to go with anyone right now, I'd go with Odebert, just off of his ability to dribble right, left. And I think, again, final third, I need to see more. I'd actually like to see Toe off the left, but I need to see him on the left before I start saying him above Odebert on that left-hand side, but because he hasn't played there for Spurs, really. So
Brennan?
I'd like to see him on the left. Nah, no Brennan. Brennan's not even in my team. I'd barely put Brennan on the bench, I'll be honest. And then in strike,
think 15 minutes of Brennan is a sufficient amount, and you can get maybe something. He did. There was what game was it where everyone was scoring and no one wanted to pass him the ball? He was running around. I saw him make about 3-4 different runs, and every time the dude was like, "No."
Yeah, they don't want to pass him. They've realized,
and then he just went and picked the ball and scored. And I was like, "Okay, Brennan."
There was a game where he scored.
That was once.
It might have been Doncaster. Where he scored that goal. It was a good goal down that sort of ran through the middle.
I'm gonna have to look it up, but
I would go down the middle, down the center. I'd go Solanke. I need to see what I don't know what to expect of Kolo Muani as of yet. Like, I've watched him prior to Spurs. I've seen him at Frankfurt. I've seen him at PSG. Not been super
versus City.
Impressed.
Versus Man City.
Oh, yeah. I know what goal you're talking about. That was a good game to be fair, a lot of them. Richarlison as well. But Richarlison's been awful. I wouldn't start Richarlison. I'd go Solanke just to link the play a little bit more. And I think Solanke will thrive of having Xavi Simons in there, proper 10, because I think he'll do a couple 1-2s. And Simons is used to playing with a proper 9, and I think he's that 9 that he can get the most out of.
Yeah, I'm still so curious about Kolo Muani. I mean, I can't say I'm a big Serie A enjoyer, because the fucking pizza league, this goddamn lasagna league, whatever you want to call it, it's just so slow. I really thought that Son could have gone to Napoli and been arguably the top scorer in the season, just like he was under Antonio Conte and Tottenham. But that's neither here nor there. So for you, Solanke starting at the striker, Odebert left wing, Xavi, Paulinho, and who's the midfielder?
Bergvall would be my favorite one. But to be fair, like you said, starting the season, I had Sarr, and Sarr would have been above Bergvall for me. But I'm a massive Bergvall fan, so I'm being a bit biased.
In the short amount of time we've seen him play for Frank, he has exponentially all around looked better. When he makes a mistake, he makes up for it with two really good things, I think. And it was kind of the opposite. He would do one good thing, then two mistakes. And that's a good shift. That's kind of what I've been hoping to see. But it is still early doors. 7 matches in. We play Villa this weekend. I did say last question, but I just have one more. What's your thoughts? Do you have any prediction, any early door prediction for that? Obviously, England played today, so international break still ain't fucking over. I guess now it is?
Yeah,
tomorrow?
Sort of tomorrow. I think tomorrow's the last of the games, but then today would be a lot of players will start returning to training for Thursday. I think they get the day off tomorrow, and then Thursday a lot of players will be back in. You know what? It's always hard to predict a game this early. I'm always like, I don't know.
Villa didn't score for about 4 Premier League matches. I think it was.
And then they've won 4 or 5 in a row since, though. Just in all competitions, they've been winning games. So that, to be fair, that leaves me with some confidence that we'll win. Plus, we're at home. I think we're going to beat them. I don't know the scoreline yet. I haven't figured that out.
They did win 4 in a row, and before that, it was 5. So they drew versus Sunderland, then they beat Bologna, which again, pepperoni toppings league, not rating it. Then they beat Fulham, which was a statement. They beat Feyenoord in the European competition, and then Burnley they beat. So, I mean, you could argue it's relatively the same people that we've beaten. They did lose, or I guess they drew, to Brentford. They also drew to Everton. So I guess you could go back 7 matches unbeaten, because that's 3 draws and 4 wins. So 7 matches unbeaten, just like us, I guess. Huh. I didn't even think about that. I was just thinking about their first form. They drew with Newcastle, lost to Brentford, lost to Palace 3-0.
To be fair, they just couldn't score goals. That was their problem. They couldn't score goals. They weren't necessarily losing loads. But do you know what? Look, I think someone said Watkins injured in the chat. That'll be a huge boost for us. They had trouble scoring as it is, so I'm missing out your striker. We should be able to get the job done, I'll be honest.
Very nice. I think we'll get the job done too. I think we'll fucking rip the shits out that motherfucker anyway. But that's my opinion. George, you got anything coming up on the channel you want to tell the people about? I did have a very shitty intro for you, so I'm hopefully going to end it better, but I wanted to give you a chance to say kind of what's been going on. I haven't seen you live at 5 a.m. my time lately.
Oh, yeah, the morning lives, I was keeping them up for a long while. But then there's not that much news coming out this past month, innit? So I'm like, hey, I can go live, true. But guys, I don't know. I can only do so many tactical breakdowns or like rants and stuff until it's just I've rinsed all the news. So yeah, I've just sort of slowed down them at the moment. But if Spurs are constantly churning out news, guys, I'll be more than happy to go live most mornings. Maybe not every morning, but at least 3 times a week. But I will be live tomorrow, probably. If not, I might be live in the day. I think I'm going live in the day. So look out for the live show in the day. But definitely, Boardroom Talks is back tomorrow. I think it's been a 1-month hiatus. And
I'm hopefully going to be on that. I have to talk to my wife about it. The first thing I told her when she got home was, I'm going to do a show, and it's right now. So the next thing I want to talk to her about is tomorrow's show. How much was my wife going to love me?
Same time tomorrow. I'm going to be busy. How about that?
Yeah. How about that? Hopefully. I was going to ask one of the moderators to drop your link in there, but I realized whenever I could just
it's
literally
fine,
do
to
it
be
while
fair,
you're talking.
I've seen everyone in the chat. I'm pretty sure everyone in this chat is subscribed to me. We all have the Spurs faces. As much as it's big, it's kind of small on here. So I think everybody's aware of each other and aware of all the accounts. So big up to everyone in the chat.
But if you are watching on Twitch and Kick and you want to find George some more, you can find him there at youtube.com/DuRagDiaries.
9 p.m. tomorrow. I don't know what time that is your time. Is it 4 p.m.?
I'm 7 hours behind.
Oh,
so
7.
9 is 2.
2 p.m. So 2 p.m. Jacob's time, but 9 p.m. UK time. We'll be live. Boardroom Talks, putting together a panel. Should be JJ, because there's 2 J's, obviously. Elijah, and then maybe a few other faces. But we'll see, people, man. Just make sure you keep a lookout.
The whole boardroom gonna get together, man. I might just have to pull up, even if my kids are screaming at me in the living room. Anyway, make sure you go check them out there. I will hopefully be there tomorrow. If not, maybe here tomorrow late. I might just start going live whenever I'm playing video games now, just because I can. I have the internet now. I could do it. I have the space, the TV, and yeah, so I might do that now. I don't know, but I'm hoping to get more regular content back coming to the channel, so hopefully can get that habitual nature back and get all the good people back into the chat. But it's been good to see some of y'all so far. Destiny, I see Ashley's in the house. Hello, Ashley. Spurs King. I am redirecting on over to Spurs Kings TV, so when you get there, say Jacob Raid. But if you want a little entertainment before you get sent over there automatically, I've got a nice little outro video that George will probably leave the studio back room before it finishes playing because of maybe the noises, maybe the subject matter. I don't know. But either way, Thomas Frank to Tottenham is what Patrick Swayze is to the movie Ghost. Stay blessed, stay fresh up the lads, and come on, you Spurs. Be kind to yourself and be kind to someone else today. Stay blessed and fresh as always. Come on, you Spurs.
Oh. Oh.
Mm.